joined the meeting. While we're amassing, Kathy, Frank, hey, good to see you, Kathy, Frank. How are you guys?
Good, and happy
I'm
birthday.
here.
Thank
I'm
you.
here.
Hi, Frank.
Hello.
Yes, I'm 65 years old.
Well,
Happy
look,
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Deborah. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, Frank.
I usually sing solo, as you know. Solo, you can't hear me.
Yes, yes, Frank. I don't know that I've heard you sing before, and you're quite good.
Why, thank you, dear. I see Kathy has her magnificent sunset again.
yeah, now I don't know how to get rid of it.
It's those two flying saucers up in the sky, though.
Yeah, I don't know what those are.
Aliens.
So we've been watching the bear in our backyard for about an hour.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any trouble signing in. Hang on one sec. Hey, Tay? Hey, Tay? Sasha's having trouble signing in using the link that's in the agenda. Could you potentially try to give her a hand?
There's a number missing on the end of the meeting ID.
Oh, my goodness. All righty. Kathy, do you know what the additional number is?
I think it was a 9.
Huh. Evidently there was a 9 missing on the end of the link.
The ID.
You want to try that? Give it a shot. I'm going to hang on to you on the phone, okay? Yeah. Oh, good. Alrighty. So
There we are.
okay.
Thanks, Sarah.
Perfect. Okay. Bye.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Hi, Sasha.
Hi, Frank. How are things?
Rolling right along. Are you feeling better?
I am. I'm definitely on the mend. I was very grateful to get my COVID test back today negative.
Oh, great.
It only took a week, but I got it.
Wow.
So I was in self-isolation for 8 days.
Well, that was a very smart idea.
Well, with everybody in the house and the babies and mom and dad, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Good work.
But I'm very happy to be out of that room.
Right. Yes. Now you just had the flu or something.
Yeah, no, I had strep throat and then most likely influenza B.
Ah, yeah.
I've never been so grateful to have just ordinary influenza in my life.
You and the rest of the family, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you saw or got the email yet, Frank, but I posted the next concert coming up on the 7th.
Oh, I hadn't seen it yet. Who did we get?
I just did it this afternoon. It's gonna be I'm gonna butcher her last name, but Sophia Ciardini.
Okay.
And her boyfriend, I believe. And then Amy Rose is gonna be the opening act, so it should be fun.
Yeah, it sounds it. Yeah. I'm
You
gonna
guys-
have to get some Italian wine for this. That was this one then.
Well, Troy's is gonna be our restaurant partner this time.
Who? I missed that.
Troy's will be our restaurant
Oh.
partner.
Oh, good.
So
I think they have done the best meal so far.
yeah, theirs was very nice.
Cool. You guys, I just got a text from Marty. He should be coming into the call soon.
Hi, Miss Sarah. You hear me?
Yes, indeed, Tammy.
Okay.
And there's Judy Caldwell.
Hi,
Ooh-hoo!
Hey,
Judy and
hey.
Rick.
Well, Rick will be on his computer. I should change my name.
Sarah, you forgot an
And-
imposter.
Yes, my cat would like to be a board member if you guys don't mind.
That's fine.
I think that would be perfect.
Oh, Frank.
Bad, Frank.
Hi,
I
Sam.
couldn't resist that.
Hey, Sam.
Sam said he was going to go to the town hall. I was hoping he made it.
Yeah, I heard his vehicle.
Oh,
There
Hey,
he is.
Sam.
I'm here.
Sam, it's hard to understand you.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Better.
You're cutting out, Frank. Sam. Cut out, Frank.
How's that? Is that any better?
It's a little
Martin
better.
Gitlin.
Hey, Marty.
Join the meeting.
Sam, you're a little.
Hang on a minute. Let me switch
Yeah, you're
the
bad.
phone and see if that'll work better.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Marty.
Hey.
Hi, Marty.
Hello, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm waiting for the bear to come over to my side of town.
The bear?
Yeah, I asked Kathy about the bear.
He's been in our backyard on and off now for about an hour.
Ah,
Wow.
neat.
So
Say
I was
hi.
wondering, Could
Say
we
he likes your place.
want to throw a slab of bacon or something in that trash can in front of the town hall and see if he can open it?
no.
And that will accomplish what? Other than, being amusing.
Yeah, entertainment.
Ah, okay. I'm all for entertainment.
Hi, Kitty.
Well, if you want him to go away, take a loop of right-wing radio and just play it over and over, play it endlessly, and anything with a functioning brain will run screaming into the ridge, up the ridge, or drown itself in the creek, which I really don't want the bear to do.
No, he's really quite big. We don't
Oh
want-
yeah, oh I know. He's like, he stays away from here for some reason. He's pissed off at us because they can't open that dumpster. Let me know when you want to take a look at the replacement dumpster, and I'll show it to you. It really looks like it'll work very well for the construction part of the foo-for-ah about garbage, trash, and literal as opposed to virtual, which supersedes all the literal in this new age of whatever it may be. But yeah, we'll take a look at it if you'd like to see it, unless you already have.
No, that would be cool.
Yeah, just let me know.
A quick interruption there. Hey, Tammy, do we expect Chris on the call?
I haven't heard otherwise.
Okay,
Want me to text him real quick?
sure, yeah. Sam,
And
Sam-
once again, happy birthday.
oh, thanks, Marty. Thanks, Marty. Hey,
Oh,
Sam.
it's your birthday?
It
No,
is.
I just said that for no fucking reason at all. Jeez.
Well, happy birthday, Miss Sarah.
Thank you so much. I'm an old gal now. Hey, Sam, yeah, try your voice again. See if we can hear you.
Bye. There's Chris.
Is he on there?
Hey, Chris.
Hey guys, how are you?
Then I will
Good.
not
How are
bother
you?
him.
Just
Hi there.
peachy.
Running late.
Oh, no problem. Hey, Sam, how's it going? Sam's working on his connection.
Sounds good.
Is he the only one at the town hall? Maybe he passed out. Maybe he's dead. Maybe he kind of drowned from the leak in the roof.
Can you hear me now? Is
Kind of.
Yes,
that better?
that's better, Sam.
Okay. I switched
Real
from the
good.
computer to the phone.
Hey. All righty, Sam, I think we're good. I think we got a bunch of people.
Okay. Well, let's call the meeting to order.
7:07.
Okay.
I move to approve the agenda.
I have a item to add to the agenda. We need to add
Can you roll call
discussion
first,
about the
please?
roof on the town hall.
Sam, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could we do roll call first, please?
Okay. Sarah, you're here.
I
Sasha,
am.
here. Marty,
Betcha by gum.
Frank,
Here.
Kathy,
Here.
Chris.
Here.
Okay. Did I miss anybody?
Tammy's here.
Sanford, Sasha rather, not Sanford.
I said Sasha. Sasha, you're here, right?
Got me. I am.
Okay.
And
Hi,
then we have
Sasha.
Judy Caldwell is here as well.
I'm a
bet.
visitor.
All right. Need to add to the agenda, discussion about the roof at the town hall. Anybody else have anything to add to the agenda?
Do we have any
Maybe.
we can talk about with the bare bins, like the one that's in front of the town hall?
I still gotta get with Timberline on that, and I need to talk to Tammy about
Rick
something,
Caldwell.
or I'll try and get,
Join the meeting.
and I'll let you know where we're at.
Hi,
I
Rick.
move to approve the agenda as amended.
I
Is there a
second.
second? Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
I
Uh,
Okay, agenda is approved.
Kelsey's here as well.
Okay,
Kelsey.
Diamond.
do we have any public comment?
Rick or Judy?
No, I'm on the
No,
agenda.
not yet.
Okay. Let's move on to bill payment.
Oh, yeah.
Did everybody get a chance to look at the bills?
Yep.
I move we approve the bills.
Second.
Okay. Before I call for the vote on that, Tammy, I see on the bill payment that you still have your little comment there by Tay about not having any timesheets from her, but I know you've got everyone since I took over as mayor. I'd appreciate it if you'd take that off of there, because I've sent them to you every pay period since I've been mayor.
So you've emailed them to me?
Yes, I have.
I will check and look for them then.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Bills are approved. First order of business under new business is COVID-19 extension of the county road closures to June 14th. I know on our town road closures, I don't know that we ever put a expiration date on that order. Do we want to set the same end date as the county, or what should we do there?
I would be
Yes.
okay with
Okay.
I
Do
didn't,
I
I
hear a
didn't,
motion
I
to that
didn't,
effect?
I didn't hear what Chris was saying.
that. I said I would be all right with that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion there?
I move to approve that we keep our towns closed as long as the county does, which is June 14th of 2020.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Who seconded? Kathy?
Sasha?
Sasha.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Judy, you're up.
For the town hall counter. Did you want to talk about that
There's
first?
Schoolhouse grant report.
Okay. The town hall counter was in front of me first, so I thought you meant that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did you want
Well, you said you was ready to move the counter this weekend, and I apologize. I ain't had too much on my plate this weekend. Can we do it next weekend?
Sure, anytime you want.
Okay.
I just need to be there with you.
Right.
Sunday would be better for me.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can ask for some volunteers next Sunday to move the counter out of the museum and bring it to the town hall.
I will.
Okay,
What time? What time on Sunday?
I don't know what's good for everybody.
I can be there after 12, anytime in the afternoon.
That works for me.
Sure.
Want to say 1 o'clock?
Sounds good.
You got it.
That'll work. Thank you all.
Of course.
Thank you, Judy.
So now I
Yes.
guess I can do my schoolhouse grant report. Since the building belongs to the town, I thought you guys should know how that stands right now. The grant that we had from the State Historic Fund was to figure out how to solve a problem with the settling foundation. We had gotten a crack in the wall where we could see all the way through all the bricks. So it was time to do something. And it's not a new problem. We've had this issue over the last couple of decades. In 95 or so, there was a French drain put in to solve some of the drainage issues. And in 2005, there was a steel rods put in to try and ease the bowing that was going on with the north wall. and the cracking has just gotten bigger. The crack has been there all along, but it's gotten worse. So,
And that second floor is separating a little bit. It's starting to maybe be a little bit, at least looked at.
well, yeah, and some of that is from back in 2005, but hopefully they've come up with a solution. Well, we just paid, it would cost Pete's about $4,000 as our matching share. Those wonderful structural engineers and geotechnical engineers and architects get a whole lot of money for their work. And I'm hoping that they did a good job because they came up with a plan using something called micropiles. I don't know who's familiar with that. But it will, it'll be on the northeast corner of
Preparation H, Frank.
No, that too. But micropiles are what was built most of our greenway down in along the canyon. So yeah, we know what micropiles are.
Oh, well, good.
They're small piles.
They're what?
Small piles.
Small piles.
Of what material?
Thought you said they were vile. So okay. So after a lot of measurements, testing the soil and checking things out, they came up with the drawings for that. There'll also be some changes to the drainage. We'll be doing some grading. One of the big problems is in order to get to the lower wall from both sides, they're going to have to undo some of the work that's already been done there, where the French drain is and where the ramp that goes up the back of the building. So the next step that we have to do now that we have the plans is to try to put together a grant proposal and a scope of work that we can put out for bid. And I'm not sure how much it's going to cost yet. We'll find out when we get some bids back. But if the drawings alone were about 16,000, I guess, dollars, I imagine the actual work is going to push toward 100. So I'm going to be looking for money from foundations. And I'd like if the town would also keep it in the back of their head when they work on the budget at the end of the summer.
I'm sorry, Judy, could I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yep.
You said the drawings alone were 16,000 or 1,600?
16,000.
Okay.
Well,
I
not
just
just
thought
the
you had
drawings.
said.
It's not just the drawings. There was surveying and they did
Okay.
soil tests and all the end product was the drawings, which detail how the work should be done down to the inch. So, I mean, there's a lot of work that went into it.
Yeah, no, I just thought I had heard you say 100 the first time and then 1,000 the second time and wanted to make sure I was hearing the right. No, I'm sure it was me. I just wanted to make sure.
And the share that Peeps came up with was 4,000. Well, that was our 25% match. At any rate, so we're going to be looking for monies. So if anybody hears or knows a good place, let me know. And if the town wants to help chip in, I don't know, your budget's going to be a little tighter this year, I think, than the past. So I don't know if that's something that's possible, but I'll talk to you later in the summer about that. In the meantime, I will leave a copy. The town has a copy of the proposal, the plans, and I will leave a copy at the town hall for anyone who'd like to look it over. And I would appreciate it, especially people who've dealt with this before. If you have any concerns, questions that I should be asking the architect and the engineers that'll be doing the work, I would appreciate that. This is a new approach to me. French drains, I understand a little bit better. So I will leave a copy over there and you're welcome. I would ask that you don't take it away from the town hall, but if you want to read it over there or sign it out from Tammy, I guess I'll let you guys work that one out. We also have sets of drawings that will be for the people who actually do the work when we put it out to bid. If you would like to see those, I can bring them over, but I'd like to hold on to them so that we have them available for the bidding that's going to go on. And I guess if there's any questions.
Judy, this is Frank.
Hi, Frank.
I'd like to explain a little bit more about micropiles. That was kind of a short answer I gave you to start. What micropiles are? They're small support rods or underground, vertical, that it provides support, but because the individual piles are separated, it allows water and moisture to pass through the support structure. And so you get your support, but you aren't backing up water by having a solid wall or some kind of support.
Right.
What
And
kind of metal?
drainage is an issue back there. And they'll also
Right.
be doing some of the work had to do with better drainage system and also from the roof. In that corner especially, we get a lot of drainage coming off the roof and buildup of ice. So
Gutters, yeah.
the gutter issues, yes, in that corner. So the Hain architects are working on that and on the grading that will be going on. Thank you, Frank. You explained it very neatly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
What was that?
There's a little bit of echoing going on. Seems good. Just a couple of comments from me, if I could, Sam and Judy. One is, it sounds to me, Judy, like you have a resource on the board, Frank, who I suspect if you chose to use him in any way you wanted to, he would appreciate it.
I love it when you talk
Frank.
dirty.
But I also
Sure.
wanted to say that I so much appreciate your commitment to this, Judy, and the fine detail that you look for in these things. And I have every confidence that you're going to do this in a wonderful way. The other quick thought I had was to make sure that, and as I'm sure you would, that you're cross-exchanging information between the additional work that's going on that might be related to drainage issues, as you might think to do, just so that the contractors are aware of whatever information might be helpful.
For the drainage. Yeah, the architects and the I'm sorry, I was looking for the word. The engineers, the architects and the engineers have worked together on coming up with this and have, spent a lot of time, and that's also part of the cost for the doing up the drawings and the plans. This was one of two different approaches, and it was agreed upon that that was the best. And the geotechnical engineers who proposed the micropile solution have offered to be available to supervise the implementation of the plan as well. So they will be looking it over to be sure that conditions haven't changed since they did the testing and all that. And I think we've got some good people, and the Haynes said they have people that they've worked with and that the engineers have worked with in the past that we will be asking for bids. So old brick buildings like this are kind of a specialty for the Atkinson Nolans. They've done a lot of old brick historical buildings, which is one reason we chose them, because it is different. It is different to work with an old brick building. So keep your fingers crossed that the solution will work. It has to be done carefully, and the fact that there will be a good number of micropiles around that corner, they will do one at a time, so that at no point will there be any great distance that is not supported. That was part of the guarantee, they said. Anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to add, I'd be willing to help consult it all, whatever.
Great, Frank.
So-
I'll leave the proposal and the plans at the town hall, and feel free to look it over. I'm still
Okay.
reading some of it, and any input would be greatly welcome. He's already had a big impact by saving us from the flood of the Memorial Day weekend flood. How many years ago was that? Maybe 7 or 8 years ago. We had
Lots.
in the back, the water misdirected
Right.
and came down the back of the schoolhouse, which it doesn't normally do. But Frank solved that problem, so I know he can do it.
Oh, we just rerouted the upstream creek a bit.
Yep. Around Kathy's house, I think.
Yes, exactly.
So.
And I know Dawn will make sure that doesn't happen again. We walk that creek. And like this year, it was starting to go over a little bit and he fixed it. So yeah, we're keeping an eye on that too.
I don't know if that should be part of the project in terms of making that a little bit more permanent fixing job, so that it doesn't depend on somebody walking up there and doing that.
It's just a matter of what has fallen into that little creek during the winter. It's mostly just cleaning out, pine cones and debris and stuff.
So making that a part of regular maintenance every spring is something that's important. Good. Thank you for talking about that issue. Any other questions?
Yeah, since the museum, it's been necessary to not open it this summer. Is there any time frame in which this work could be implemented? It seems like this is a window to accomplish a lot.
It would probably be the end of next summer, because we'd want to wait for it to be a little bit dried out, not quite as wet as in spring. And the grant wouldn't be announced until early in 2021.
Okay. That's what I just was wondering, if this was in some way, would work out this little window, but if not,
it would have been nice if we'd known we were going to have this window. It would have been great. Unfortunately, not.
Thank you, and thank you very much. Very
You're
much
very
for
welcome.
allowing me to work at the museum, and for all the work you're putting in on behalf of our town's heritage.
Thank you. I enjoy it, and it's nice to hear that. Thank you, Marty. And I hope we can continue to keep that building alive and well. It houses an awful lot of wonderful treasures for the town's history, some of which we may put into the town hall counter display area of it, so that there will be a little bit of history out for the public to see, or at least the people in town. And we're talking about maybe doing a virtual tour online. Now that we have a website, peopleforsilverplume.org, check it out. Nick was busy all weekend and it turned out very nice.
Neat.
So take a look at it next time you're online.
Yeah, that looks good. That's really looking good. I checked that website out this afternoon. Yeah, good work.
Okay.
I look forward
Renew
to
your
it.
memberships.
Thank you, Judy, for everything you do for the town.
You're welcome. I enjoy it. And I'll see you next Sunday.
All right.
1 o'clock.
Remind me, please. Someone remind me. Help my brain. It's old.
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you, Shane.
Okay, the next thing up is building code update. I didn't see Kelly on here. Is Kelly here?
No, he's not here. So what we did is sent you guys out basically what the 2018 new code is that everybody else in the county is adopting. But like Kelly was trying to reiterate a little bit, we can go in and adjust things as we need. I would like everybody to review the code and see what they think, because, you know, obviously we probably won't need any swimming pool ordinances in there or anything like that.
I don't know, drive down Hancock Street. We could use that.
You know, find out if there's something that we want to add to it or take away from it. You know, I'd like feedback all the way around from everybody, especially you, Rick. See what you think about it as well. I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's a lot to do too. You know, I think Tim's going to have to brush up on some new codes and that kind of thing. I mean, it's a big step. It's definitely not a small step by any means. So I would definitely appreciate everybody's feedback. Yeah.
This is Rick. I had always understood that the newer codes were much more demanding and difficult with regard to working with historic structures. Is that true? And if so, how are you planning to address that issue?
I don't have a plan for it personally per se right now. I think it's something that we would like you to look at as well and see what you're thinking. But yes, that is definitely something we need to look at. Georgetown did a little bit of work on theirs to go into that regard. So I think maybe we ought to look at Georgetown's and see what they did, as well as Idaho Springs and Empire as well. Because all of them have adopted this code and they've all kind of twisted it to their deal, you know, their code that they want into their town. And I think we could do the same thing. But we also need to, you know, I think we need to update from our, I think it's on the 93 code right now, if I'm not mistaken.
91.
91. So
Yep.
we need to might as well go with the county on it. And especially with, you know, a big commercial place trying to put in right down the street from me here, actually, but somebody trying to build a new construction like that, you know, I'd like to have a heavier code on that. So the right fire stuff is put into there and everything else is followed to the 2018 building code at least.
It seems to me that that's going to require someone with real expertise, a lot more than I have. I've never known an awful lot about building codes. It's kind of more of an architect and builder or contractor area of expertise. I could certainly look at the ordinance that adopted in Georgetown and maybe copy some of their changes to it. Beyond that, I'm going to be pretty useless.
Okay. And maybe we go ahead and ask some people like Tim McDonough to look at it, see if maybe he would be interested.
I think that'd be a good idea.
You know, anybody who's willing to help with it, obviously we want to have their opinion and, you know, have them help us with it. But I just need to reach out a little bit more. But you're definitely one of the first people I wanted to talk to about it. So.
Okay, then. So I think it might be appropriate, and please feel free to disagree, to table it until we've had a chance to examine it more closely. I did a glance, but that's something that I would be remiss not to find time to look at it better. So
yes,
that's a good update. I mean, it's great to understand where in the process we are. So that's really, but I think, well, not but, so I think we ought to, unless you have more stuff to tell us, but.
I mean, honestly, I didn't think that we were going to be looking at a draft ordinance. I wanted us to all look at this. This is a big project. This isn't just, hey, here's the 2018 building code, guys, adopt it and let's go. You know, we've got, this isn't a small one at all, but it's something we definitely need to get on and try to get going. Whatever resources we need to use, whether it be Barbara or Tim, or I mean, all the way around. It's a completely new ordinance at this point. So. But I want everyone to read through it and get some feedback on what they see as just the generic 2018 building code right now.
So, Chris, a quick question of ignorance here. I see the email with the collection of documents, Idaho Springs, and then ordinance. Is there an actual silver plume?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so
we have not made an actual silver plume one yet.
Gotcha. So we should review this information and highlight anything of concern or thoughts for additions that you would then potentially consider in the silver plume.
Yeah, there should be a generic 2018 building code attached with all that. And then I believe there should be a copy of Idaho Springs and maybe Georgetown's in there.
Yeah. Good.
just for us to review and see what direction we want to go with it. Because like I said, it's a big step. And like Rick said, it's very stringent code for historic buildings as well.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, whatever we think we need to do on that sense, we need to do.
What's your timeline? When do you want us to provide comments by?
You know, honestly, before the next meeting would be awesome. And then maybe after that, we can work out a work session and find out a couple people who want to go in it a little bit more with me and have a separate work session on it. You know, it's going to be more than a one-person job after that, I feel. So I would like to get a little committee together, I guess, of who would want to do this and then find out, because maybe we can go with the zoning and adjustments board and talk to them and see if anybody of them would like to come, because it's going to affect them as well. So I think reaching out to Tim McDonough will be a good step, and then going from there.
Chris, will you get a copy of the adopting ordinance from Georgetown?
Yes, I can call down tomorrow and get a copy.
Okay. My understanding on these things is that changes to these printed uniform codes are generally made in the adopting ordinance. And so that's where we're going to want to have a whole bunch of, this section is amended to say such and such, that section is amended, that one's deleted, whatever kind of thing. So that ordinance is going to be a good starting point.
Okay. And that's where I'd like the feedback from everybody else, see what you guys think from that. I will try to get a copy of Georgetown. So if it's not in, I thought it was in that email, but it may not be. I'll get a copy of that and get that sent out to everybody as well.
That'd be great.
You know what, Chris? I have a copy of that from Georgetown for their latest update, so I can forward that to you.
Awesome. Just send it out to everybody if you would, Tammy. Thank you.
Okay.
Chris, I have someone in my family who is an architect in Denver that specializes in historic restoration, such as that. I believe if I give him a call, he might be talked into helping us with it. Would you be interested in that kind of help?
Yeah, 100%. Somebody who knows it down in Denver would be breeze up here, I imagine.
I'll get a hold of him tomorrow and see if he'd be willing to give us a hand.
That sounds good to me. And I'll talk to Tim, and then, you know, maybe we even need to reach out to Cindy Neely. I'm not sure. It might be a good resource to use as well. So I just wanted to throw it all out there and let you guys look at it. So.
All right.
That's great. Chris,
as long as we're on the subject of building and historic stuff, I'd like to slip my agenda item in right here. I was at the town hall at lunchtime today visiting with Tammy, and she was going to show me something in this back closet here in the town hall where she stores some of the historic records. And we opened the door, and there was water in there. A lot of the boxes were soaked. I believe it's coming from the roof. We've been talking about putting a new roof on the town hall for as long as I've been on the board.
Decades.
I think we're to the point now where we don't have a choice. We need to do it. We need to do it as quickly as possible. We're going to have to bite the bullet and take it out of the general fund. We don't have time to wait for a grant application. Something that needs to be done now. Comments?
I totally agree. It's, you know, especially we're getting close to monsoon. Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely.
And I agree we have to do it.
My only comment, and this is, I guess, a recusing myself comment, but I don't know, however you'd like to look at it. Turner Morris did the roof on the large town hall. So I think that since we've worked with them as a town before, that would make the most sense to call them about it. Recusing myself, of course, because that's where my husband works.
You bet.
I agree 100% with
But they
Sasha.
have worked with the town as far as our grants and different things. So it's a fairly straightforward roof. That would, in my opinion, be our best bet.
As long as it fits in with their schedule, and they can accommodate the necessity of a quick Joe.
Yeah.
And I think legally, don't we have to put it out for bid? But they would certainly be welcome with gratitude if they would be willing
My
to
understanding is we need at least 3 bids.
do it. Okay. Yeah, that's what okay. Thank you.
Sasha, could you make arrangements with them to give us a bid?
You
Huh?
say
Sasha,
Yeah.
could you make arrangements for them to come take a look at it and give us a bid?
Yeah.
I've already talked to Chris. He's gonna get a hold of Tim, you said, Chris?
no, Tim's got a buddy, but I'll see if he could throw a bid in for the roof. One thing I would like to ask the board and see what everybody else thinks. I think we should look at a metal roof for the building as long as it's historic enough. I believe it does fit in with the codes, and it would be a roof that lasts forever with the building. It would be a little bit more upfront, but it'll be the last roof we put on the place. So I would really like to stress that factor when we're out looking for bids instead of just doing another rolled roof or a shingle roof that's already on there.
Totally agree.
I agree with Chris, and my understanding from 10 years ago when we were having these discussions also was that it needs new sheeting and everything. It is an honest full roof replacement that we're looking at, and
That's what I was just gonna say.
none of us should have any other ideas about it. That's what it is.
I think we had talked before about a temporary fix. I think we're beyond that now. I think it needs to be done and needs to be done right. And I agree, it needs to be taken all the way down to the rafters and everything redone.
Tammy, can you call just a generic company out of Denver and have them come up and do one of their free estimates for a complete roof, a metal roof? That way we can do 3 total bids. I will try to get one out of this independent contractor. We'll get one out of Turner Morris and one out of Denver, and then that way we can go ahead and elect.
Yes, I will.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, sounds good to me.
Well, also, as you know, Tim did the roof up at the Santiago.
Tim already stressed that he will not be doing any more roof jobs in his lifetime. So
yeah, he does have a history of breaking his, appendages fairly regularly. That's a smart move.
Another consideration for a bid might be Sean Platt.
We can do that as well instead
Just
of calling
for another
somebody
local bid.
Yeah, instead of calling somebody out of Denver, you want to call Sean Platt, Tammy?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I will.
I like that idea too.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't think this is something that we should put off till the next meeting. If we can get the bids together before then, how should we handle this? When we get the bids, should we call a emergency meeting and go over the bids and commit then, or?
Yes.
How do we handle it?
Yes.
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 Emergency meeting. Yep.
We can just set up an emergency Zoom meeting and do
As
it.
soon as possible, let's get the ball rolling on this.
All right, I'll call my guy first thing in the morning. Sasha, I'm sure will, and Tammy does. So we could probably have bids within a couple 3 days. So.
Where will I find the time to talk to him?
Oh.
Okay, shall we move on? Monitor and camera for town hall. Tay.
So you had asked me about setting up a system so that we can continue to have these Zoom meetings in case we continue to be shut down, so that they can be done in the town hall without the public in the town hall. And so without having specific equipment in mind, because everybody's ordering this stuff right now, you'd be looking at a $500 to $1,000 budget to get that set up. And what that would do is we would have a screen in the town hall that we would see what's being presented and what have you. And then the camera would record the meeting so that participants from the public could view and hear what's going on in the town hall without everybody needing to be connected to their own separate. Does that make sense?
It does. And looking forward, I've talked to the county commissioners, and and mayors from the other towns. And I believe this is one change, permanent change we're going to see out of this COVID-19 ordeal is the county's planning on, even when they start having in-person meetings again, having them available online. Get better participation from the public that way. And I think we should be looking into the future and get ourselves set up for that. Not only for that, but there's talk of maybe a second wave of this virus coming through in the fall or winter, where we may be looking at more restrictions. I think we should be set up better to handle it. This is something that I'd like to see us do. Comments?
I am entirely supportive of this upgrade, and I think the price range sounds like something we should be comfortable with. I will piggyback that comment by saying, for this and Sam, when we get bids for the roof, I think we want to sit down with a budget and make sure that we're aligning these expenditures with what we've budgeted, and if not, just be transparent about it and identify other resources that we need to beg, borrow, and steal from.
Do we have an emergency fund, like a, kind of like a significant cash instead of a petty cash kind of thing? I mean, with obviously more official kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, and Sam and I are gonna refresh our memories about this, and Chris, you may remember more right offhand, but I do believe we have a selection of line items in different categories that we could justifiably tap into. But we need to look at that carefully, Marty, and provide a more accurate answer to that. The other thing I will say is that we do, in odd circumstances, have something like $100,000 that is available to us that we've never had available to us before, that we could look into tapping into for some of these critical resources.
If necessary,
if necessary.
Yeah, no, great. Excellent. Thank you for that edifying,
thing.
Exponentially wonderful little deal you just gave my poor brain.
And Sam, correct me if I misstated.
Oh, it sounds right.
If I could make one comment, as we're looking at these new resources for our meetings, I think that given that we have a new family that has moved to town and now has purchased a home that is deaf, we need to include how we will handle meetings on their behalf as well. We have had other non-hearing people that have lived in town, but never a complete family. And as they try to expand on their new home and different things, we will need to be able to accommodate them at zoning, board of adjustment, town board, peeps, all of those things. And so as integrated of a system as we can make this, I think that it is worth every penny to make sure that everybody that lives in town is included equally.
Excellent.
Well, sounds good. This is Frank. I have a question related. I'm getting tired of doing visual on my computer and audio on my phone. Where are we with this project to get a device, whatever it is, for each one of us? That is that plan still a plan, or should I just go out and buy something myself?
This is Tay. That's still a plan. We bought the equipment that we ended up buying. Long story short, the equipment we were able to buy once all the dust settled and everything was approved wasn't good enough. So we're going to have to buy something else, and we're sending these ones back. And Sam has been testing them pretty hard, and they failed. So, yeah, so those are the second batch is coming. But to that end, all of the background stuff in the accounts are all set up. So the only thing that has to happen is the machines need to be turned on and the accounts assigned to them. So everything else is good to go.
What kind of time frame are we looking at?
Probably 2 weeks at least.
Okay. So I'll hold off to see how this works out before I go out and drop $1,000 somewhere.
Right. Yeah, don't drop $1,000 somewhere.
We're going to shoot for before the next meeting. I'm not going to guarantee that we'll make it by then, but that's what we're shooting for.
Okay.
Could I ask a quick question about that also?
Sure.
What equipment are we looking at buying at this point?
Samsung Chromebook 3s, the 2017 models.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. As far as the camera and stuff for town hall, Jay, can you go to the next step and get a more solid estimate for us and a list of the equipment that we need to do that, and try and incorporate some of for the hearing impaired into that?
Yeah, for the hearing impaired, I will probably have to reach out to a resource as well. There are a few, I mean, unless we have a teletyper, I'm not quite sure how to caption a live meeting or a signer. I don't know. I mean, I do have, I could probably use those individuals as a resource actually, because they'll have more information than I will about presenting a web meeting for the hearing impaired.
I think that
Hey,
would be.
Sasha, I'd suggest contacting the library to see if they have any, or have already figured some of this stuff out.
I have Frank talk to the library, as well as
Good.
the couple that set up, the company that set up our Zoom conference center at the Heritage Center.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have caption capable software. And the library does also have people that can come up and sign and translate, given enough notice.
Sasha.
Good.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Good question, Frank. Sasha, it strikes me that you and Tay should connect so that if we're asking Tay to set us up with the equipment, it would be great for her to have the knowledge you have while she goes forward.
Yeah, I didn't, it didn't cross my mind until seeing it on the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
And I'd been looking at it for the Heritage Center for separate reasons.
Yeah. No, and
two came together.
Yeah, it's great. But can you guys connect on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question on that. Is the Heritage Center, are they a nonprofit or government?
The Heritage Center, as Frank said, is a nonprofit, but the software is the same regardless.
Right. I know that there's different, I actually did look into captioning software as well as transcribing software, and for government, the prices are, there's definitely a cost to it. So maybe they're using something different, but what is our responsibility as far as, like, I know there's some, excuse me, I know there's some live captioning stuff that, or sorry, transcribing stuff that has latency. And then there's also the ability for somebody to type while people are talking, kind of like a clerk reporter. So I don't know what our responsibility is as far as getting that out live. Does anybody know?
Well, I've a completely other idea. I know that they utilize their phones. I'll talk to their phones, and their phones will print it out too.
Right.
So that may, you know, obviously, I'm one of the least technically savvy people, but if there's something, that's bigger, like a tablet that'll do the same thing or whatever device, that might be a reasonable approach to doing it. I mean, it's like subtitles in a movie almost, be a little less personable than having someone who's willing to come up and sign. That would be, really neat.
Okay.
I think, Tay, as far as our legal responsibility, if they're a member of the public, it's a little bit different than if they're actually on the agenda and part of a meeting. If they're just coming to listen to the meeting, it's a little bit different. But I just want to make sure that we're in the correct position should they come to a meeting officially or need to do business with the town officially, that we are recording and understanding them correctly, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and they should have access as a citizen whenever they want to, which is what you said before. I just want to
right, which the latent transcription is fine for.
So
sounds great.
It sounds like, Tay, you're going to connect with Sasha, and we'll leave that up to you just to make sure you've captured everything she has learned. And then we understand you need to do some additional research.
Correct. Yes. So yeah, I don't know if you got that. Yes, that's correct. I mean, we'll get the ball rolling with getting everything set up, and then we will be looking into that as an addition to whatever I come up with. Does that make sense?
Does to me.
Okay.
Okay, and as long as we're on this subject for the monitor and the camera, I'm guessing everybody got the email that I sent out this morning. I'm here at the town hall. I'm not gonna press anybody to join into a in-person meeting until everybody's comfortable with it. But I do plan on being here for the meetings in the future, and if anybody that feels comfortable in joining me, I would like us to eventually get back to live in-person meetings. And I'm starting it by being here. Anybody else that feels comfortable coming down in future meetings and joining me here in the town hall, you're sure welcome. And like I say, I'm not going to press anybody to do it until they're comfortable with it. If there was somebody else here with me, I'd be wearing a mask. We'll follow whatever guidelines are out there at the time, social distancing and such. Chris had a suggestion. I spoke with him earlier about maybe having our town council meetings in the big town hall where we've got more room to spread out. Something for discussion at some point.
I like the town hall idea once people are comfortable. I don't think that if one board member doesn't feel comfortable, I would be comfortable with doing what would make them comfortable and not do it. But I like the idea, but not, when the time is appropriate. The town hall is, it's kind of like easing into the whole, interacting as humans again.
Would we have to sing and dance?
No, we just have to ease into it. Remember, we're not, virtual anymore.
The only the only concern with doing them at the town hall is if we don't, there is no internet access at the large town hall.
Yeah, that was a big
So it
one.
is an all or none proposition.
Yeah.
Right, and we also don't have a regular cleaning schedule there. So if we choose to do that, which I see the logic behind it, we need to kick in and clean before and after every meeting so that we're responsible for our use. The other thing I just want to add is, understanding other folks may be more ready to get back together sooner than others. there's the logistical thing, which is in order to hear each other, we each have to have our own device. So for instance, Sam would be sitting with his computer, Marty, you'd be sitting with your phone or your iPad, and Chris the same, and you'd be 6 feet apart. So you still have to be teched out in order to be physically together for a meeting. That's my only comment.
That's
so even
correct.
if we were there as humans, we would have to have the intrusive electronics involved in it.
Yes.
Yeah, the only
Okay.
simple way to do that is multiple microphones, which is another that can actually, and then multiple microphones need a mixer and all that stuff starts to get.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, you know, it's, hopefully we will be able to do things normal within a couple of years at least, or at most, whatever it may be, before we actually have gotten rid of it. An interesting statistic on this, the United States is just over around 4.5% of the Earth's population, and yet we have almost a third of the coronavirus cases in the world. And there is obviously a lot of room for error in the reporting. If you want to believe, you know, what any other country says, that would be the statistic, or what CNN says. And, you know, there are a lot of gaps in that, but it's just an interesting statistic.
I'm comfortable with it either way, guys, but we can keep doing Zoom, or we can have a couple people up there in the town hall. I mean, we can make it open to everybody. We have many of options, so.
I have to say, this is the first. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would just like to say that after having gotten out of bed for the first time in 8 days today, I am not comfortable being around other people yet. So, I have been so ill, more ill than I've ever been in my life. And I do not want to bring that to anybody on this earth.
Well, come on now. There got to be a couple of people that you want to bring it on to.
Just you, Marty.
Nah, you love me as I love you. We know that.
I do have to say this is the first time since I took over as mayor that I've actually sat in the mayor's chair. Feels pretty good.
Congratulations, Sam. I know how
Don't
it
get
feels.
power drunk.
And ask Sasha's dad where the gavel is.
Sarah, could I ask you a favor? Sarah?
Yes, Sam.
Could I get you to do me a favor and take the meeting over for a few minutes? I wasn't counting on using my phone for this, and it's gone dead. It's about to run out of battery, so I need to run out to pick up get the charger.
Okay, sure. Okay, so where the heck are we?
The next item will be
Number 5.
Marty, the discussion on signing.
Okay, good. So,
few things.
Marty, are you going to start us off and then turn to Peg on this?
Well, yeah, I have questions and comments and suggestions and stuff.
Okay, start us off.
And it may all be, like has happened on many occasions, it may be all resolved, but I just want to
dive
know.
in. Just dive in. You're all set.
Okie doke. The dumpsters around town could use those by order of the town of Silver Plume. Bumper stickers underneath the signs which say, "Keep your construction trash out of here, Buster."
Okay.
Okay. I would like to see, and it was pretty good. It was a lot better than I thought. An intrusion from the outside and ignoring, and most of the people were actually, the ones that I saw were either wearing masks or were driving slowly through town, which, you know, that doesn't bother me that much. So the signs seem to be having a limited, but it's having a positive effect. I would like to, one, verify, and if so, find out where the signs that need to go by the coffee shop and the Register's residence would say no parking from here to the corner, be erected as close to immediately as is feasible due to, again, public safety. An emergency vehicle, be it fire or be it ambulance, needs a large turning radius, and they're running emergent quite often, and they don't want to have to tippy-toe. I don't want to see a vehicle that has to tippy-toe get into a fire.
Sure.
So I'd like to see those up. And I guess that's about it.
So Marty, on those signs, we discussed them at the last meeting. What is your specific question about them?
Well, it's more, I would like the board to direct whoever, however, whatever, they were there in the past. They may or may not exist. I don't remember seeing them around anywhere. If they do exist, I would like to see those signs go up as soon as is feasible.
Sure. Good. I want to connect some dots here. We had a discussion about signage in this area on the last call or the call before. And Tay, you indicated that we had signs coming to put up there. Are these one and the same signs, or are these different signs? And if they're different, that's fine. But if they're the same, where are they and what's the time frame on putting them up?
They're one and the same signs. They are one of the things that have kind of got lost in the COVID shipping delay things because they were custom. But I did have, so we spoke at the last meeting that I had temporary signs to put up because the post poles are dug.
Okay.
But as I've spoken to you and Sam, I've been dealing with some health issues. So
Sure.
Those are delayed.
So Kate, is this something, and when Sam gets, Sam's back, is this something we can put on the list to cover in the near term along with
the sign, whatever signs we have will be put up very soon. I need to get with Tay and find out what signs we need to order that we don't have. Niall will start working on some of this stuff beginning tomorrow. He's supposed to be back. He was out of town over the weekend. He's supposed to start tomorrow and start getting some of this done and some of the road work done.
Great. Sam, I'm going to hand it back over to you. We were just getting an update from Marty on priorities, and this the signage in front of the coffee shop and the Register location is the priority. And Tay was just giving us a quick update on where those signs that were ordered are, and the nature of putting up temporary signage, which is what I think Niall would be doing there in the near term. So it's all yours.
Okay. Did you have more to say on it, Tay, or?
No, just I would like to see those those 3 dumpsters have those signs on it.
Yeah, the stickers. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, just those bumper sticker things.
Yeah.
Cool.
I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What are we going to do about the caution tapes that are on the Main Street end of the footbridge near Town Hall, small Town Hall?
That was meant to be temporary, to alert.
They're kind of ugly, and they're right across the street from me, so I have a dog in this race.
Oh, absolutely, and I would like to see them replaced with. Tay's idea was great, and I understand the health issue. It's a kind of a project, finding, the right, of having a rock where people could actually sit and watch the creek. But it's a project. It isn't as simple as rolling a rock there. You got to find the rock, and et cetera, et cetera. But I just want to ensure temporarily, that's what it's meant to be, that nobody for whatever reason, they're backing up to take a selfie or they're doing something, goes blumping down into the creek, or a kid hits a bump, or loses the bike on the dirt road, which has happened before, and accidentally go through that thing. So it's there as a warning, and I would love to, and I support completely getting it the hell out of there, but not until there is a permanent or a semi-permanent or something structural, or however you want to have it, at that site. And I apologize for the ugliness of it, but I'm more concerned with someone not dying or hurting themselves or whatever.
Yeah, and I just want to put, Marty, I do appreciate you and the way you say things, but it has been open for, I think, a number of years, and not to minimize the need to block off and put up something that is protective. I think what we've got there is very apparent and will deter people from going close to it. But I will also say that I don't think anybody we've not seen accidents around it for the past number of years. So I encourage us to, prioritize it as we can and address the obnoxious looking but successful closure.
Thank you. Were you talking about the tape or me?
Both, but no. I just, to put it in perspective, it's been an open section, I think, for quite some time. So I just caution us from overblowing it. That's all.
I mean, if you want the tape down, if the board wants the tape down, I have no problem with taking it down. I know it's there, but I just was concerned about that, acted on the concern. Again, I would like to state, I would like to see some type of preventative yet aesthetically inoffensive solution to that gap. That's
I have a question. Sam, can I go ahead with the question?
You bet.
Okay. If we're looking at would a section of fence solve the problem? Because why I say this, I noticed that leaning against the creekside wall of the Georgetown post office, which is owned by Tommy Buckley, I understand, that there is about 4 sections of that wrought iron type fence that seem to be just sitting there. If a section of fence that looks appropriate to go along with the current fence, there may be a chance we could get a section of that fence from Tommy and install it.
Excellent. I mean, it has to be done properly, and Tay would know more about that than I would. But I think that's the solution I'm looking for, kind of personally. And
excuse me, Marty and Frank. My only concern is tying in a piece of fence to a piece of fence that already looks like it's about to tumble into the creek is more unsafe than a gap. So until we're in a position to appropriately replace the entirety of the fence along the creek on Main Street, I don't feel that tying another piece of fence into it is appropriate or any safer than the gap.
What we need is a visible sign that says, "Do not lean on this railing."
or
Those don't work even at Disneyland, Tammy.
Well, Sursa had a lot of suggestions for that railing, and their favorite suggestion was take it out and replace it with something safe.
Correct. And it's all well and good to cover our butts with signage.
Yes.
But the use of resources and time, just like patching the roof on the town hall,
I know.
I feel a gap is safer than a poorly attached bit of fence. And that's just my opinion. And
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I say, if the board decides to remove that caution tape, that's what it's democracy in action. But I would encourage something to, or if we're comfortable with the gap, then we're comfortable with it.
Could we close the sidewalk there and then do something like put rocks or something? We have very large rocks in Silver Plume. They go along there. That would act like caissons across that or something.
Maybe we can get them to put a dump, one of them roll-offs there from the transfer station, like their Berlin Wall going around. The Silver Plume has an iron curtain now.
We definitely have rocks that big in Silver Plume.
Yeah, but getting them from point A to point B is what the issue with that is, and I love that idea. That would make me less annoying as opposed to being totally happy.
Close the sidewalk in that section.
Yeah, I would not be against closing the sidewalk in that section for now. I mean, there's a sidewalk on the other side of Main Street, so there's still one available for the public, and it would probably be better for us anyways to have that sidewalk closed.
Okay. Do we have the means to do that?
I mean, it's just signage and cones. There's nobody that can preventively tell you to stay off of the sidewalk, but we can cover our asses by putting two signs up on either side of it and coning it off probably.
How about an electric fence?
In my opinion, lest we digress, could we keep this open for discussion and move on?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda. It's an important issue, and I don't know that I don't think it's a good use of our time. It would be great if somebody came back with a proposal to address the circumstance. And Marty, I for one appreciate that you made an effort to call this to our attention and a temporary fix. I tend to agree with Sasha. I wonder if this is something that in our grant considerations we wrap into, and maybe this is already part of what's going on, sidewalk upgrades along the creek there.
I thought it was. I thought that is being addressed.
So it may be, yeah.
Yeah. So bottom line, all I want to know is if the town board would like me to take down the caution tape or leave it there. What does this?
I don't think that's a thing to be decided right this minute.
Okay.
I agree.
I'd like to move on, please.
Yes.
You bet.
And I think we lost Sam completely now.
Should somebody run over to the town hall and check he's breathing?
that he didn't drown yet?
You guys, my phone plugged in. He's still trying to get in. Tay, I guess he needs to be let back into the meeting. He's having trouble getting back in.
Okay, let me see what's happening. I'm sorry, hang on.
Okay, Sam's calling. Hey, Sam.
Hey, I've been trying to get back in the meeting and it keeps saying meeting host will let you in soon.
I think Tay is addressing that just now, Sam. Sorry about that. We're just turning to town shop office.
In light of having to spend money on the town hall roof, I think we should skip that and move on to something else.
Okay, okie dokie. So we're going on to old business. Number one is organization of town ordinances to town clerk.
Yeah,
Tammy.
I continued to pull them out of the drawers, and I've located most or all of the older ones that haven't been purged. So in the next week or so, I'll get them typed up into a list. And then I will also get you all electronic copies of the latest ordinances that we use all the time, including the land use code. We'll need to add the new 2018 update when we get that done for the building codes. And then as I talked with Sam today, there's a little bit more to the organization of the ordinances. So I think you should look at codifying them,
Hey, Sam.
because it's the
Tammy,
process you
Sam,
go
for
through
update.
to get
Okay.
all the information gone through and sorted out and what's been replaced with other ordinances and so forth. So that process will actually bring us to the point where we need to be, so we have a code that's manageable, and you will then have a better idea of what other ordinances you might want to update or develop.
That sounds great, Tammy. So what's your time frame on that?
Before the next meeting, I will get you electronic copies of what I do have and a list of the ordinances with their subject matter.
Great, great. Sam,
That's awesome. Thank you.
That's excellent.
welcome.
Sam, can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All righty.
Is there something wrong with Zoom that I can't get in, or what's going on there?
Hey, Tay?
His name's on the screen now.
Oh, Sam, it looks like you're in.
Okay. I'll hang up the phone and see if I am then.
Okay, bye.
Is he working now? Can you see him?
He was only in on the phone.
Oh.
Okay, here he is.
He's in.
Yeah, I think his audio was better with the phone, but Sam, can you let us hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, I think I'm back.
cool. Okay, so unless there are questions on the town ordinances, Sam, do you have anything further you want to say?
No, I don't think so. I think Tammy's moving ahead pretty good on it. We talked about it at lunchtime today.
Cool. All righty.
Okay, Sarah, why don't you take number 2 under old business, and
I will do that, Sam, and you add in as you think appropriate. So Sam and I were able to speak with our attorneys about the water line or the water service tap that is located on Sasha Register and John Buznich's property, but is owned by the owner of Verona, or Gene Zimmerman's property, the cute little blue house there on the corner that is currently occupied by a wonderful young family who, as I understand it, has just purchased the site and is signing the papers on the 1st of June. And this is the deaf couple that Sasha referenced just a little earlier. And the issue here, you guys may remember, is that it is a water tap that is, I think it's to both locations, to Zimmerman's location and, Sasha, correct me if I'm wrong, but to Sasha and John's location. The current,
No.
oh, just the Zimmerman's?
Yes, my tap is my address is 545. They are 555. The 545 tap is located about 18 inches south of theirs. We do have separate taps.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good clarification. So in any case, the tap to Verona's place, the Zimmerman place that's just being purchased, is located on Sasha and John's property. It is in the middle of a driving parking space and was inadvertently damaged because it sticks up above land surface. So the effort and desire is to, one, locate the Zimmerman water stop on the Zimmerman property, and two, to put it in a safe location that will not be jeopardizing the tap itself and consequently potentially the line to the house. As you all may recall, as a result of a vehicle backing into this water stop, the water was temporarily stopped. The water supply was temporarily stopped because of a kinked line to the Zimmerman residence. So we spoke with our attorneys. They confirmed that the tap for the Zimmerman location is indeed the responsibility of that property location. So that's clear. They also suggested that, as Sasha is a board member, that it was probably cautious of the board to not have Sasha represent herself and her family's location, but it was perfectly appropriate for John Buznich to represent their interests in future on board discussions related to this particular issue. And there is I think, and Sam, I'm going to ask you to step in on this. I think there is a general desire on the part of the two board and mayor representatives speaking with the attorneys to be as helpful as we can as a municipality to make this circumstance logical and correct and fluid for future water service provision and parking and transportation in that particular location. But it is not, clearly it's not the town's responsibility in terms of our ordinances. And maybe I'll stop there, Sam, and turn to you to see if you want to add anything to this.
Okay, but the only thing that I have to add to it is we specifically asked the attorneys if we as a board decided to kick in and help or assume responsibility for a part of it. There is a provision in the ordinance to allow us to do that without setting a precedence that could be used against us in the future. I don't know if that's something that we want to do. I'd like to be able to help these people out as much as we can with them just purchasing the home. One thing that I offered, and I'll make the offer here to the board, if it would help, if it would lower the cost, I would be willing to run the town's backhoe and do the digging for the project for nothing. That would may help them out financially without the town having to directly contribute money to the project, if that makes sense.
If I could make a comment, please, as I don't know where I am anymore. This comment is as a board member. My next comment will be as a recused public member, and then I'll have John here after that.
Okay.
As a board member, I would caution us using any town equipment for any private property purposes, just as a broad spectrum comment. As a recused board member and part of the public, that would be lovely. But as far as this specific case is concerned, and then as I said, from this meeting forward, John will deal with any particulars about it. We have already gotten a bid to have it taken care of and that bid has been submitted to the current property owners, so the purchasers will not be footing that bill. So as far as this case is concerned, we're ready to proceed forward, having known that this was the homeowner's responsibility. Secondarily, though, because we will be digging up such a large portion of that, consideration of the board with regard to moving it and any help with that cost that will be incurred at a later date, probably when the floodwaters recede in October. I think that we were all open to that discussion.
Yeah, yeah. And Sasha, sorry.
No, I was finished. Go ahead.
Good. And I would just add that is something that Sam and I spoke with the attorneys about. I think that's right, Sam. And Sam and I talked about this just from a logic standpoint. It makes sense to both of us that if we're opening the hole, we should correct the issue at the same time. So I, as a board member, would be fully supportive of us thinking this through and doing our best to kind of assign what we suspect would be the costs associated with the different pieces of this activity. And I, for one, would be supportive of the town covering an appropriate amount of the cost to kind of correct the sins of the past and correct the problem.
And I do have one more quick question that I forgot to think of earlier when we had talked about this. But was there any discussion with regard to if the 545 Woodward and 555 Woodward stops are, it wouldn't be a T off, it'd be a V off of the main? If somehow they were incorrectly attached to the main, does that change responsibility and liability as we move forward with Banky digging it up in the next week? Are there things that we should be aware of to look for to then say we need to stop? Other people need to look at this before we move forward.
I think that's a good question, Sasha. Sam, what do you think? And then others, for sure.
From what I understood Joe to say was anything off of the main line is the property owner's responsibility according to ordinance.
I think maybe what Sasha's saying though is most everybody has their own tap off the main to the service line. So if there's only one tap physically into the main, then it tees off to both properties. Then we have to get a machine in there to tap and put another service line for the other property.
And yes, we absolutely have to fix that problem if that is the case.
Right.
I don't know if it is or it isn't until we get it dug up and see what's going on. But yes, if there is only one tap on the main feeding both of those houses, we need to tap that main and run a new over to one house and yeah, vice versa. But Banky can tap. I don't know if he will or won't on that line, but I'm pretty sure he will. We might have to turn it off for him. And I would say that there would be no expense at the tap. I know that they usually cost money, but no, there'd be no expense at the tap, and maybe we can help with the materials at that point.
So, again, not as a board member, as the citizen involved. John and I and John and Mickey, the people buying the other house, will proceed forward with Banky and just take pictures all along the way. If anything looks suspect to any of us or Banky, we'll stop, send the information to the board, and decide how to proceed from there if that's acceptable to the board.
I think so.
Yeah, my only suggestion there, Sasha, is as much forewarning about the timing so that we're poised to address is preferred.
So
Banky was hoping to be there in 6 to 10 days.
Okay. So are you guys
Sasha.
gonna dig back all the way to the main, no matter what, just to see?
Yes, we have to.
Okay. All right. That'll be interesting.
Sam,
Sasha.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad that we'll be able to figure it out, because if there's a problem, let's fix it. And my experience with our Jim Noble project, 80% of it's been a problem. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys find.
Yes, Jim Noble.
Sasha.
Sam.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
all I have.
Sasha, when you get it dug up and opened up, could you get a hold of me? I'd like to come take a look and see what we got there too.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
as soon as I have a firm date from Banky, I will either call or email you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is a short-term rental ordinance update. Rick has put together a rough draft, which I was hoping to send out and let y'all take a look at and give some feedback. Barbara, our attorney, asked me this morning not to do that until she had a chance to look at it. So I didn't get it sent out. Hopefully we'll have something a little more solid by next board meeting, and I'll get that sent out to you in good enough time that you can have a chance to take a look at it, and we'll have a little more of a discussion about it then. Rick, if you're still on, thank you very much for the time that you put into this, and I'd like to get together with you sometime here in the near future and talk about what you have and where we need to go from there.
Anytime.
Okay. We'll touch base here in the next day or, here in the next day or two, and then.
You just do it by phone?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. We've been working on getting the safety inspections done on the town vehicles. I think the only one still left to do is the little Mazda and the backhoe, which I'm going to do the backhoe, and I just haven't got to it yet. I haven't got the actual list of everything that needs to be done, but I do know that the dump truck needs some major front end work. It may even be to the point where we need to have a discussion about whether that one's worth fixing or not. By the next board meeting, I'll have the complete inspection reports, and I'll send them out to you so we can go over them and figure out if we want to take bids on getting the repairs done or where we want to go with it. Any comments?
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Sam, I agree. Sam, I just had a quick question. How do we test the air quality inside the cabs?
I don't know. The only way that I've ever dealt with air quality inside the cab is by making sure that the exhaust system is good and don't have any leaks that would leak into the cab.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if there's a way you'd actually test it or not.
No,
You
no,
can put a carbon monoxide meter in the truck actually to see if it goes off or not. It's one
Okay.
way that you can kind of test them. You don't get a reading of like how much is in there, but it tells you if it's safe or not to drive the vehicle. If the meter doesn't go off, then you're good. If it goes off, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, Sam, that's tied in with whether or not the exhaust system's tight, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious. Thanks.
And that has been part of the inspection too. Like I said, I haven't actually got the report yet. I've just talked to him about the major things that he found. So when I get that here in the next day or two, I'll pass it on to everybody.
Thanks so much for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, looks like that's the end of our action agenda. Administrative items and mayor and committee reports. Hey, do you have anything to add for the road and bridge report, or we pretty much covered it?
No, we've covered it. I've mostly been sick, so.
Okay. Tammy, do you have anything to add other than what's already been said?
Well, I called the county to get on the schedule to get the Plume cleaned out at the top of that wooden water guide we have up on Silver Street. So before I could get on the county schedule, Dave Fritz and the other residents up on Silver Street cleaned it out for us. So I just wanted to publicly thank them and tell them how much we appreciate that, because it's a hard job. Important. So immediately the water stopped running down Silver Street and went back into the flume. So
Great, Tammy, thanks.
Awesome.
that was just a note for them.
Good.
Okay, and I have a little something to add to Tammy's report here. In conversation we had at lunchtime today, Tammy was telling me that she's pretty stressed out and hasn't had time to take a vacation or whatever. So we come to the agreement that Tammy's going to take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off this week and get rested up and recharged so she can come back next Monday and be raring to go.
Okay.
Have fun, Tammy.
That's good.
Yeah, I got to clean up my yard.
That don't sound like a vacation.
Whatever you want to call it, Tammy.
It's not Silver Plume. I don't get away with it for much longer.
All right. Seems to me like I had something else that I wanted to pass on, but I can't remember what it is now. Well, it's sounding like from what's going on with the county and everything that they're going to start opening things up a little more in the county here. Well, restaurants are supposed to be able to open tomorrow, and the train now has a opening date set for the 5th of June. I think rafting is right along that same line. So we're going to start seeing a big influx of people from out of the county. I don't know if there's anything that we need to do to prepare for that or what, but I just wanted to put that out there that it's coming and coming pretty quick.
Yeah. Hey, Sam, I've got a question on that. Listening to the county commissioners meeting this morning from the county health people, they kind of said that the reopening plans for rafting and things like the railroad had not been approved by the state health yet, and they were going to finalize the county submission that they have to make to the state health people are supposed to be finalized on Thursday by the Board of County Commissioners, and then it has to go to be submitted to the state for their approval, and that you can't really put a timeline on that. So where did that June 5th date come from that you mentioned?
That comes partially from what the governor said when he's going to address recreation type stuff. We have a meeting tomorrow of the COVID policy group where we're supposed to approve the variance request. If our group approves it tomorrow, it'll go to the county commissioners on Thursday for their approval and will be submitted to the state Thursday or Friday. Some counties are getting an answer back and approval on their variance request the same day. So it's possible we could get an answer that quick, or it could take a little longer. It depends on basically how our county public health has addressed the issues that they needed to address on the variance request. Probably the 5th is more hoping than knowing. But
Yeah, that's what I was. That was the point I was trying to make.
Right.
We shouldn't be throwing out definite dates because who knows? The state health folks could take weeks to approve what is submitted by Peckrey County.
I know that
So
the last 5 variance requests that was submitted by counties, and I've got a list of the counties somewhere, were approved within a day. That's not to say that our variance request is good enough to be approved that quick, but if you don't throw out some sort of a date, and I think there's some basis for the date of the 5th. People have to plan to be able to open, and that gives a target date for people to plan for. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but that's not what we're debating. The final decision is going to be made by the state health people, and we don't know when that's going to happen. And so I think that's the way it stands in reality. So I'm not arguing with you at all. I'm just saying that it all depends on the decision of the state health people, and we don't know when that's really going to happen.
Yeah, and I spoke
I'm
to
not
Al
arguing
Mosh
that
at the
point
Phoenix
either.
Mine on the same
all I'm
issue.
asking is, do we need to be planning for it? Is there anything that we need to do? It's not gonna, if there is things that we need to do to be preparing for it, it's not gonna do us any good to wait until the day that they open the floodgates and then say, oh my God, what should we have done?
Well, has the railroad still made the decision they're not going to be using the Plume station this year for loading and unloading passengers?
The Silver Plume Depot for the foreseeable future will not be open. I'm not going to say that it's going to stay that way through the whole season. It depends on, like everything else, what the state has to say. But at least for the first part of the season, no, it will not be open.
Yeah, so it's not going to have a real impact on our end of the line up here,
Okay.
as far as parking and people and everything else.
Right, and that's the question I was asking. Is it something that we need to be concerned about, or something that's not going to impact us?
I don't think it's going to impact us too much that we have to have a plan for it, but that's just my opinion.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I agree with Chris, but I think it's very important that we're aware of what's opening and what's happening. So I appreciate the update, and agree that there's no action to be taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
What she said.
And I would only ditto that and just say, Sam and everybody, I think we just need to recognize what Frank said, which is, let's take it in daily and see what that tells us.
Okay. Next item is approval of minutes for May 11th.
I
Do we
move
have any
to approve the
discussion
minutes
on the
from
minutes?
May 11th.
Sasha seconds.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Yo.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right. We'll now adjourn from the regular meeting and move into an executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters pursuant to CRS 24-6-402 F1.
Hey, Sam,
Yeah,
just when you're ready for directions for people, I just want to remind them of what to do next.
okay. Tell everybody what to do next.
So thank you, Sam. You guys, we sign off of this Zoom, so sign out of this and sign
Hang up.
in. But before you do, let me finish. Yes, you're going to hang up,
Okay.
but and then I want to make sure everybody got my email with the link for the next Zoom meeting. Did anybody not get it?
I got
I
it,
got
but it
a
didn't
link.
have directions for people phoning in.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Right. We need a phone.
Tay,
We need a phone.
sorry, what, Frank?
Okay. I was going to say, yes, there's no phone-in information on that email.
So I need to ask Tay, do we
Let,
use,
let me let me dig in real quick and see if I can get that. Hold on. Okay.
okay, thanks. So you guys, when we get the phone numbers, thanks for calling that to our attention. But the link I sent, I think is good. We'll send around the phone numbers. Give me a chance to let you into the meeting, there will be a little time lag. And if for some reason this all messes up, I'm going to send out my own Zoom meeting link that we'll use instead of this one, if it doesn't work. So, apologies.
Sarah,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. It might be easier for you to invite people with the full link with the phone number once you start the meeting. If you go down to the bottom of your Zoom bar where it says invite, then you can email that off with the full information there.
Yeah. Okay.
To Frank and Marty. I don't know, that just might be
Yeah.
a quicker way to get it rolling.
Neat. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
So
find that right now. So just give me a second.
It's just fairly quick from in the meeting itself.
It's not the same thing. So that's well, I mean, yeah, Sarah, you could start it and send it from within the meeting. But we have to close this meeting in order for that to happen.
Sarah,
Okay,
let you take over the recording of the minutes. Or you take over record keeping and I will sign out.
Okay. I'd like to suggest it's according to my clock, it's 8:52. I'd like to suggest that we take a little bit of a break and reconvene at 9 o'clock. I think Sarah needs a little time to get the town attorney on the line and all that. So let's reconvene at 9 o'clock.
Well, can we push it till 5 after so I can take my dogs out to pee and the other residents of this abode can have an opportunity to empty their bladder also?
Is anybody opposed to 9:05?
No.
Tay has a question.
Okay.
Do you need to reconvene the town meeting, or are you just gonna start the next executive session at 9 o'clock? Is the town meeting? Can we end the town meeting officially and then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's all. And I'm still getting the phone number for you, Sarah.
Okay. So
I move to adjourn.
Yeah. So Tay, I am going to send around a phone number to everybody before you guys go. I'll be sending another email with the call-in information.
Okay, who moved to adjourn?
Sasha.
Second.
Chris.
All in favor?
Yo.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
to those who are going to join us at 9:05, we'll see you then. To everybody else, have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.
Have a good night, Tammy.
Thank you. You all too.
Night.
Good night. Hey, Tay, I'm hanging on.
I'm having all kinds of technical problems. I'm so sorry. Just give me a second.
Sure. And Tay, tell me if you think I should use my own account.
Well, if you actually, can we get on the actual phone and then I can close this
You
and
have the right to
it
remain silent.
eliminate.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Should you choose to waive that right and leave a message, please do
How do we
so
mute
after
him?
the beep. And thank you.
I knew.
So sorry, I've got like so many things happening. Can we get, I'll close this meeting and then the other one will be able to open up and you can go into it and then I can talk you through it on the phone. How's that?
Okay, I can hang up even though you called me, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Should you choose to waive that right and leave a message, please do so after the beep. And thank you.